Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here, and we have a lot of leaks about the upcoming Apple Watch Series 6 and its software, watchOS7, which is great because when the Apple Watch Series 5 came out, we barely knew any information about that product, and features like the always-on display completely caught me off guard. So these leaks are great because we will not only get a good idea of what watchOS7 will contain, but also what some specific hardware features the Apple Watch Series 6 will have. Now, all of this information comes courtesy of 9to5Mac, and they have been on fire, just getting us all the latest information about multiple Apple devices. Now, 9to5Mac is saying that this leaked information is in fact based on leaked iOS 14 code obtained by 9to5Mac. So if you want to get even more information, I will leave the link to all of these articles in the description below. Now, a word of caution about these leaks. I'm going to parse out these leaks in a way that I think would either make sense for watchOS7 or specific hardware features for the Apple Watch Series 6. But at this point, I, or anyone else for that matter, don't really know which updates would be software specific or which updates would require new hardware. Now, the first leak regarding watchOS7 has something to do with a new watch face called the Infographic Pro watch face. Now, the Apple Watch currently already has an infographic digital and infographic analog watch face. Now, these watch faces are great for displaying a lot of information, and they support a lot of complications. 9to5Mac is saying that this new Infographic Pro watch face will support a tachymeter. A tachymeter on a watch is usually displayed with a chronograph, and that can compute speed based on travel time or measure distance based on speed. Honestly, it sounds like a pretty small update to the current infographic watch faces, but apparently within watchOS7, you will now be able to share watch faces. So obviously right now within watchOS 6, you can change between multiple different styles of watch faces, and then from there you can customize other things like the complications or sometimes the color of the watch face. Now, apparently in watchOS 7, you can already save those watch faces and then you could share them to other Apple Watch users. 9to5Mac says that these watch face configurations will be shareable as files that can be previewed in the Files app and shared with various methods, including AirDrop from the iPhone. Honestly, that's a cool little feature if you wanted to share your current watch face setup. I know there are certain times where someone who owns an Apple Watch sees, my current watch face and they're saying, oh, how'd you get that watch face? And to kind of customize it all for them right there and then would take a couple of minutes. So the ability to just quickly offload your watch face to another user and share that is great. And maybe it points to the fact that we would get third-party watch faces at some point, and then sharing those third-party watch faces through an action like this would be a pretty simple process, although at this point, there is no indication in these leaks that we will have support for a third-party watch face anytime soon. Another leak dealing with watch faces has to do with the photo watch face. So currently on watchOS 6, you can either set a single photo or an album of photos on your watch face. When you have an album of photos on your watch face, every time you raise your wrist to look at the time, it will cycle through those different photos. Apparently, with watchOS 7, you're going to get the ability to use a shared album as your watch face. Honestly, a lot of these updates sound pretty small in regards to the watch faces, but there are some more exciting features coming along. One of those has to do with a parent mode for the Apple Watch. So apparently you will be able to set up a second Apple Watch on an iPhone and then designate that as a kid's Apple Watch. Furthermore, 9to5Mac says that a school time feature will also let parents manage which apps and complications can be used during certain hours, for example, during your child's class time. Now, this feature actually makes a lot of sense to me. So currently there is no way to set up an Apple Watch without your own individual iPhone. And there are a lot of parents out there who want to get their kids an Apple Watch without necessarily buying them or giving them full access to their own individual phone. The Apple Watch is obviously more limited than an iPhone, but it still has access to important communication apps like making phone calls or receiving iMessages. Also, with a cellular Apple Watch, you would also get access to the Find app. So, for example, you could purchase your kid an Apple Watch, set it up on your iPhone, and then all of a sudden you can stay in communication with your child without giving them a full-blown phone to access whatever they want. And then you could also use the Find app to keep track of their location. And then with this rumored school time feature, you would be able to limit access to certain apps during certain times. So say, for example, if you didn't want them to have access to a notes app to say, maybe cheat on a test, you could limit and restrict that during the use of school time, but also maintain critical communication with your child through location history and, of course, through phone calls. Okay, now I want to move towards some more health-specific features that are leaked either for watchOS 7 or the Apple Watch Series 6. At this point, I'm not confident enough to say if this will just be a simple software update for these new features or if it will require brand new hardware. The first leak and update has to do with sleep tracking, and this is something that we've covered on this channel before. In fact, Apple actually leaked a component to its sleep app on the App Store in the screenshot section for the clock app. Now, the updates we are receiving from 9to5Mac is out of that leaked iOS 14 code. It says that users will be able to set personalized sleep goals in the Health app on the iPhone, and the Health app will also include recommendations for improving the sleep duration and quality. Furthermore, Control Center on Apple Watch will include new toggles for sleep mode and noise detection. This sounds like an extension of what Apple is already doing with hearing health on the Apple Watch. So right now, Apple is using the microphones that are built in on the Apple Watch to measure the sound around you, and then it will alert you if you are in an area that has particularly loud sound. This update sounds like it will be using the microphones to listen for sound while you sleep. So for example, if you're tossing and turning in bed, the Apple Watch might measure that sound, or if you're snoring, it could also measure that sound and analyze it. Furthermore, this collaborates with an earlier story from 9to5Mac that the Apple Watch will track the user's quality of sleep using its multiple sensors and inputs, including the person's movement, heart rate, and noises. Furthermore, there was also software leaks earlier indicating how Apple will alert users to charge their iPhone. Obviously, the Apple Watch is a device that needs to be charged almost every day, and if you're using it for sleep tracking, apparently Apple will alert you on the device when it is a good time to charge your Apple Watch. This sleep tracking app would also improve the alarm experience. So for example, if you set an alarm on your Apple Watch to wake up and you woke up before the alarm because you were wearing your Apple Watch for sleep tracking, the Apple Watch would know that you were up and then disable that alarm from activating. Sleep tracking on the Apple Watch is probably one of the most requested features right now, so I'm really glad to see a lot of leaked information pointing to the fact that we will soon be getting sleep tracking either through a software update or a brand new Apple Watch Series 6. But the health updates don't stop there with sleep tracking. Apparently, Apple is also working on a way to allow the Apple Watch to detect your blood oxygen levels. 9to5Mac says that blood oxygen levels between 95 and 100% are considered healthy, and blood oxygen levels below 80% may lead to compromised heart or brain functionality, and that would also lead to risk of respiratory or cardiac arrest. So again, another health feature being added to the Apple Watch. And again, I think that this stuff is great. Blood oxygen levels are something I never think about. I would never know if I had a low blood oxygen level and what sort of risks I would have by having one. So the fact that you are able to strap on a device like the Apple Watch and it is measuring all of these different things from your heart rate to doing ECG readings, the rumor of adding sleep tracking, and now this blood oxygen level reader, it's just another thing that it's measuring all the time, another safety net for your health. And I am just super, super excited about these kinds of features that they could just never easily measure or wouldn't measure on their own before. Now, there is one more health update, and I actually think that this will be a software update to watchOS 7 for watches with the ECG app. So that includes the Apple Watch Series 4 and the Apple Watch Series 5 currently, and that is to lift a restriction on ECG measurements. Currently, the Apple Watch Series 4 and Apple Watch Series 5 cannot read ECG readings with heart rates between 100 and 120 beats per minute. 9to5Mac is saying that a future update will remove that limitation with an upgraded version of the ECG app. I've actually had this happen to me before where my heart rate was really high, say like after a run, and I actually did an ECG measurement, and because my heart rate was so high, it said that it was inconclusive and couldn't give me correct data. This sounds like a pretty small update. I'm not sure how many users this would actually affect, but again, this is just Apple further improving the health situation and the ECG reader on the current Apple Watches, so I'm all for that. All right, everyone, and those are our first looks at some real leaks regarding the Apple Watch Series 6 and watchOS 7. Please let me know in the comments below what was your favorite feature we discussed in this video, or what are some other features that you would like to see make its way to either a future Apple Watch or through a software update. As always, if you like this video, make sure you give me a like. If you want to see more from my channel, make sure you're subscribed. If you want to connect with me, make sure you follow me on Twitter. And if you want to support the channel out in any way, make sure you check out some of the links in the description. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.